Well, good morning, everyone. We're so glad you're with us today, our hotel members, partners, and our broader BLLA community. Today's session, The Human Experience Elevated, Technology and Boutique Hospitality gets right to the heart of where our industry is heading. For years, as we've all been talking about so many times, technology lived quietly behind the scenes. Today, it's clearly front and center both with the industry and with investors and so on. It's shaping every touch point of the guest journey from discovery to departure and everything in between. But here's the real question and the reason we're all here. How do we embrace increasingly powerful technology without losing the soul of what makes boutique hospitality so special? Because really, truly, at the end of the day, our guests don't come to us for automation. They come to us for feeling, for connection, for the story, for something distinctly human. This is where the conversation becomes critical. For today's session, we're bringing together a curated group of leaders who are not only building the technology shaping our industry, but also understand the nuance, the balance, and the responsibility that comes from it. From property management systems to AI to in-room innovation, today's discussion is about practical, intelligent adoption, technology that truly enhances, not replaces that guest experience. I'm especially excited about this conversation because it's something that we're so very passionate about. My name is Frances Karagian, as most of you know, founder and CEO of BLLA for the past 17 years. And now it's my distinct honor to welcome our speakers. We have Ashley Nequent. Ashley is the Director of Product Strategy for Jonas Hospitality Property Systems, a leader in property systems that helps hotels streamline operations and creates a seamless foundation for guest service. Welcome, Ashley.
Thanks for
And
having
then
me.
we have Lance Platt, who is the president and CEO of Groove Technology Solutions, bringing forward-thinking approaches to connectivity and guest engagement. And Rohit Khanna, of course, my good friend from Bodhi Minds, and the power behind Boutiquehotels.Ai. Pioneers, he's definitely a pioneer in the AI space, helping our industry kind of understand what is possible with AI. So together, this group is a very powerful cross-section of the technology ecosystem that's actively shaping our future. Welcome, everybody. If you'd like to take 30 seconds and introduce yourself, something maybe you're passionate about, I'd love to have you do that, maybe starting with you, Lance.
Boy, all right. Well, thank you, Fran, for pulling this group together and such a great topic. I thought I'd get into the theme of it by making sure that I'm broadcasting live from a hotel.
Oh,
I'm actually at a conference right now, so you can see the wonderful hotel room that I'm sitting in here in the back.
awesome.
Boy, I'm passionate about a lot of things, and I think one of them is certainly travel. I've had the opportunity to travel considerably throughout my life and globally, and I enjoy the opportunity to stay in remarkable properties, in unique properties around the world. It really fosters the whole experience and supports it. So one of the many things that I enjoy for sure. I'm grateful to be here and see if we can contribute to this conversation today.
Fantastic. And there's nothing like travel. We all agree with that. How about you, Ashley?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I've worked for Jonas Hospitality for about 12 years now, and we cover not just hotel PMS systems, but also a wide range of different areas of technology within the vertical. So, passion for me is how do we create frictionless experiences so that your teams have better systems to get a better guest experience overall. So, we can drive revenue, sure, but how do we do that well? We have to reduce the friction points, and that's my current pet passion right now is getting all of that kind of out of the way so we can do what we do best in hospitality. I've worked in operations in the past. I've seen the struggles had to have happened, so it's kind of a pet project of mine to knock those out as best we can.
And I love the Jonas conferences. I follow Lori.
Yes.
She's fantastic. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having
Rohit, how about you?
Thank you, Fran. Yeah, I've been in travel and hospitality all my life. Happen to be living in my third continent, and I say everything comes uh, secondary. Hospitality and the warmth is always a way of life, has been a way of life for me. So I sit in the intersection of being a futurist or with technology, but still grounding to the roots that are true to hospitality.
Fantastic. And Rohit and I have so many conversations about AI. I love it, and he is truly an expert in it, I can tell you that. Um, and of course, a part of being working from home is that you have cats all over the place. So if I disappear, it's not my fault. Um, Thank you, everybody, for being here again. Let's start with the first question, the balance question, soul versus scale. In a world where AI and automation are accelerating rapidly, what is one specific decision a boutique hotel owner should not automate, no matter how advanced technology becomes, and why? Anybody want to start with that?
Sure. I wrote down ambassadorship. You need to have a face. We talk a lot about brand image, how we display that brand online. But you do need ambassadorship on property to create a genuine guest experience. You can't lose the human feel. If you do, what's stopping a traveler from going to a big brand, right? So I
Mhm.
think the ambassadorship is really important to have when someone gets to you, this person greeting you at the door, the person who's offering you your itinerary or making suggestions, things like that, that automation can't do in this current iteration.
Very good point. And I think we saw a lot of that after COVID. There were some hotel brands that were trying to automate everything, bypass the front desk, et cetera, et cetera. And we found that there were so many errors in that. So I think we've kind of come full circle there.
Yep. I was working at a hotel through COVID, and we tried to do a lot of that. And a lot of the reason why people came to our resort was for a genuine experience. When we were shut down, I had women calling me asking, when is the hotel reopening? We didn't know. The state mandated our shutdown, and
Right.
they wanted that half an hour chat on the phone with me. Even though they had no intention of booking a reservation because we literally couldn't tell them when we were going to reopen. So the minute we did, they needed the same experience they were getting, and we were trying really hard with all of the you know points that we had to take right through the
Yes.
COVID experience, but it didn't match up, right? And of course they've gotten back to it at this point in time, but yes, they absolutely, we felt those pain points for sure.
Everybody's human. They
Hmm.
want to do human to human for sure.
Absolutely.
How about you, Rohit?
See, there are parts of it that the soul of a property. So, understanding the fact and the community that the boutique community are putting the soul in their property. They're not franchised hotels. They're not their own properties where they really true bring in the feeling of the true essence of hospitality. And controlling that narrative will never be automated, whether AI or no AI or any of that. It's only the parts, the transactional layers, and depending upon where the hotel is located, because there is no one problem or solution that fits all. So it's like really understanding where you are, what your demographic is, and how you can really connect with your clients. That's really kind of because ownership is what gives you the freedom to build the moments with intention, and that intention is the soul that AI will never be able to replicate. So automate the tasks that are monotonous, that are not seen, that create friction for the humans to deliver the genuine hospitality. While you're investing in technology, invest in people, because that is the biggest layer that is delivering the customer service or that moments, as we call in hospitality, the wow moments. Because even no matter how much AI personalization can get, but the intuition of the proactiveness of the people that can understand what um, a consumer or a customer likes will never be captured with AI. They can capture the artificial intelligence from their social media or their LinkedIn's and other digital presence. And fascinatingly, if you see the younger generation is posting less and less. So in order to really personalize, you really have to be human and be present.
Absolutely. I think you're right, especially in a hotel property. Um, it's kind of hard these days to look online, like in social media, which is another way to connect, and not know if it's AI or not, right? If it's that genuine person speaking or not. It's kind of
See, we live,
interesting.
see, we live in the era where it's really difficult to tell whether what is real, what is fake.
That's
And
right.
something that I've summed up that how in this environment you can be imperfectly perfect, where you're surrounded by perfection. Every email is perfect, every picture is perfect. No, you
Okay.
need that nuances. That why some Harvard student have built singularity. The whole job of that platform is to create faults that AI has created perfect. So how funny is that?
It is. How about you, Lance?
Well, I
Any-
think that both Ashley and Rohit have said that very well. I think the beauty of independent properties is in the nuance. It's really, I mean, I can't tell you how many properties we work with that fit into the brands that they're limited by what they can do. And so being an independent property just provides so much more flexibility. And as Ashley indicated, the idea of having, they both Rohit and Ashley live more in the world of automation than we do. We're more on the prop tech side from a systems standpoint, but it's really not, from my perspective, not a question about what to avoid from an automation, but rather how to leverage the flexibility that exists there within boutique to create that unique touch point for the guests there within this environment. So I think truly independents and boutiques just have so much more opportunity than really anyone else to bring that right touch point to the guest.
Yeah, they're
Yes, they
not
can.
so locked down by what the brand standards require or how far they can take a resolution, right? We can really think about it from that human perspective. Like if there's a GPR that pops up, we could get an AI tool to make suggestions about how to make it right, but does that help or does that hinder?
Yeah.
It's up to the boutique to decide for themselves. Um, but ultimately, yeah, it's the opportunity to take that in the measure that the property is requiring.
I
And maybe
say,
give the customer the option, right? Either way, they want it.
see, see the biggest advantage that the independent boutique community has, they control the narrative. They're not guided or bound by you have to do this. You don't have, there is something about that they can really design experiences where that it's very genuine rather than artificial because you know when somebody really means something, how they are approaching it and
Hmm.
how true and in hospitality is all about anticipating the needs and going through the process from from an experience design perspective from the moment the thought of booking a property to the time they leave and then how the follow-up is happening. There are a lot of ways that you can automate. In this era of AI, what's going to stand you apart is your authenticity. It's not just all the AI slop that you can generate. So does everybody. Everybody has access to the same tools. For the first time in the history, an OTA has the same tools available that an independent hotel has available. What you do with it, how you go about it, and where you put your resources is what's going to make you stand apart.
Yeah, people really need to decide, right? Where to put their resources, their money, and so on. What's the most important thing today, and things you cannot ignore, um, because the opportunity's there, right?
See, the biggest thing comes down to is that before, the average life, like Lance, you've been in the industry. Actually, you can jump on this as well. The fact that you did something and then, okay, we deployed this PMS and we don't need to worry about it, just let it flow. Gone
Mhm.
are those days. Gone are the days where you build a website and you forget about it. Oh, I don't need to go because now you live in an era where everybody's sitting like now recently or it's clearly evident it's all in the news that anybody can develop an app sitting in their garage or in their office, but can they gain the consumer traction? Can they gain the trust? And that's where, with AI, it's all about that. How do you have something that is unique, whether it's a city hotel or a resort or a bread and breakfast, that how do you keep true to your identity and your authenticity using technology in a smart way? And it's not just about spending millions of dollars, but it's a who you go to bed or who you partner with, what their values are, or what their backing is. Are they going to be around for the next 6 months or the 60 days? What happens when I hit enter? Where is that data going? Is that place safe?
Yeah.
So in our minds, there is a perception. Josephine, who's the head of Department of Digital Transformation for Singapore, I heard her analogy about talking about the IKEA effect. That it's like ChatGPT or AI is like an IKEA where everybody can go and build a piece of furniture.
Right.
And but are you doing it safely? Are you making sure that the protocols are in place? And there is a huge part of it that it's overwhelming. Every discovery call I have with every leader out there, and even so-called experts, I'm no way an expert. Everybody is overwhelmed by the sheer um, the pace of change,
Hmm.
and how do you manage that and focus on the core aspects. So in this, what becomes is like in where the IKEA effect, where yes, you can go and build something, but you need the foundation knowledge. You need to understand what an LLM is. You need to understand what prompting and how you are in the era where you can get an answer before you can think of a question. The focus is not on the answer, is on the question. So how do you focus onto that question or the problem that you're trying to solve is going to be the key that makes you stand apart. I think boutique community is in a very unique position because I know Ariella is in a noisy environment, but she could jump on this and say that the biggest wellness trend is going to be AI free zones. Where I go to my room, I'm not worried about who's listening to me, who's watching me. I can put my phone away and not worry about it because we are constantly under surveillance. We feel like there is a thing that I was reading this morning, and it's not um, a political statement, but I was reading about the emotion in the current, right at the present moment, because the every destabilizing event has created a condition where people are actually conscious how little they are in control. Anything happening in the world is affecting them, but they are not in control. So the emotional equilibrium is under huge pressure. So how do we maneuver in those environments is on focusing on the areas where you control and you can use technology to automate tasks that can really elevate or make life easier for the humans that are actually working so they can really go out and delight and give and really connect with the consumer or the guest that is actually there and make a genuine follow up that AI will never be able to do or empathize.
Yeah.
Great point, Rohit. Real quick, since we're covering this at the Boutique Hotel Investment Conference on June 3rd, just 3 weeks away, Rohit's panel discussion on security is unbelievable. And so many things, like he was pointing out, that people just don't think about. Can you just give a quick overview or what of what you're going to be covering there? And just so hotel members know, you will get a copy of the video. Of course, it's much better to be there in person, but you will be able to listen to Rohit's panel discussion.
So it's not going to be a series of question and answer. It's going to be more of a discussion because we live again in the era where everybody, any conference you go or any talk, if you listen on YouTube, everybody is talking about the glorification of what they can do with AI. Okay, I go back to the old roots and the philosophies that when you look at a tree, the tree is as strong as its roots. So do you really, how strong is the technology that can, and you understand it in order to protect yourself and protect your identity as a brand? It's not just about using an AI tool. It's also understanding there are things that you control and things that are beyond your realm of things, but being aware of it, the vulnerabilities. What happens if I upload, like there was a huge trend and I kind of panicked and I called Fran right away. I was like, look, everybody is making this blunder mistake and it's killing me because what was happening was every ChatGPT, the image creation platform that came out, Sora, everybody in travel and hospitality and all my Facebook and Instagram groups were uploading their picture onto the platform and generating a creature out of it. But nobody spent the time to really understand what happens once I upload that picture, because it goes into the black hole where bad elements can really steal your biometrics and do stuff that is not very positive. So the conversation is going to be based around, we were going to be talking about cybersecurity, but without, any fear mongering, but what, as independent properties, how do we manage and stay current with our data, protect our brand and IP, and really utilize this technology in a positive way, in a responsible, ethical way to kind of distinct ourselves from the giants.
Right.
When I go to have a cup of coffee or I'm in the meetings in the city, I live in New York, 90% of the conversation where I hear is like, okay, I'm going on a vacation, but I don't want to go to Hyatt. I don't want to go to Marriott because it's the same room, same technology, same everything. I want something different with the soul that really makes me connect and disconnect again, depending upon where I am. If Lance is in a conference and he's in a conference hotel, his needs are going to be very different. He will want seamless wireless connection, that his phone is connected to the TV and immediately and whatnot. But then what happens when he checks out? How does the system delete all that information? Can somebody coming back into the same room check into Lance's Netflix account and still watch movies? And how is the system resetting itself? So there is a whole, we have this assumption in the mindset in the community right now that AI will make my life easier. I'm of the fact that it's making us much more anxious and a little bit because there's just so much to worry about. But you have to do it in a very, like, take a breather and one step at a time, but understand the dynamics of what, where, why, who, the simple questions.
Absolutely. And a lot of that is also covered, by the way, to hotel members and vendor members in Boutiquehotels.ai. You're getting it at half price. I highly recommend that you look into using that platform. So I just had to give a little plug to that because it's the best one that I've seen out there. I'm sure there are millions, but this is special for the hospitality industry. Did either of you have anything else to add to that, Lance or Ashley? I know we'll get into more questions here.
No, that's
Yeah,
fine.
and I think I agree with everything that you're saying, Rohit. A lot of what we are doing in Jonas Hospitality is, removing the friction points, creating the safe environments for the data to live. That's the biggest thing, is ensuring that where we tell our teams, the data is going to be will remain as appropriate, and we're protecting that data behind it, and also who owns that data, right? That's a big piece of this as well. So those are all considerations for boutique hotels that you have to think about when you're choosing tech stack provider, and again, understanding the metrics of where the data is flowing.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Before we go to the next question, just one little question here from Ralph. Must the owner of an independent property be the personal brand to be really successful in the age of AI? Any thoughts on that?
I think it's more of a collective thing rather than one person.
Yeah,
Because when you bring your team together, it's not just about, like I always say, um, when I'm at work, it's not about me. It's about the team. It's all
Right.
about the common mission and the vision that you've built on. Even at home, when I'm by myself, it's about me. But when there are guests, it's not about me, it's about them.
right.
So you really got to design experiences around the common goal, because even the website that you're building or anything that you're building, you're building it for your demographic, not whether you like it or not. You might not like it, but that's what your demographic is looking for. And one of the things that I want to throw out there is right now, what is happening, and nobody is talking about it. Very few conversations are happening. And there are financial institutions that have been vigorously working since 22, because right now you're going through the biggest transfer of wealth from one generation to the next. And that next generation is thinking very differently. And their approach towards sustainability, ethics, uh, and all the things around technology is very different. So there was in 22, HSBC in London was curating special events for the younger generation, so they are ready when they take over the businesses. It's roughly around 17 to 18 trillion dollars. So you have any decision you make, you have to take that thing in mind, that they are not big into posting on Instagram. They are more concerned about your genuine story and your uniqueness. I give you a simple example. The World Cup is coming. So, um, I don't know if anybody knows this, which country is standing apart in when it comes to really telling the story of their people through their football team? And one of the biggest examples I can share with you is Mexico. There is an organization, a nonprofit organization that Delta Airlines brought into the limelight, because all their business and first class kits and even all their gifts is made by an organization called Someone Somewhere. So if you're ever on a Delta flight, there's a documentary on it. And that same organization is brought artisans together, and they're building each and every player jersey hand stitched, and it has a QR code that tells the complete history of the artisan that made that jersey. So imagine in that boutique hotel environment where you're located, instead of going with a big producer from somewhere else, yes, the cost might be high, but you're truly choosing the product that is authentic to your area or your brand. I wish Ariella could speak on this, because I know with Stay Boutique guides and all that stuff, she is really focusing on that, to bringing the local artisans together. And then same goes with technology, that the partners that are there, that have been there with you with the thick and thin, to work with them and build on it to create that uniqueness that is not same. Have
Yeah.
you, if you see the new report that has come out now, that all those bottles in the hotels, the large bottles, the amount of bacteria that has been found because they're not
Oh, yeah.
refilling them properly and whatnot. So sustainability also has its own ways how to
Mhm.
go about it. My simple thing is keep it simple, but keep it real.
Yeah. Well, there's sustainable, small, single use things that are fantastic. But I remember that article clearly, Rohit, about Mexico. And it really touched my heart because it is who we are, both at BLLA and at Stay Boutique, which is our direct booking engine. which I just got the trademark back yesterday, and I was really excited about it, posting on LinkedIn, crying, and oh my, if you've ever lost something like that, can you imagine? And then you got it back. So just had to throw that in there. But yes, I do believe owners definitely in independent hotels do have that opportunity to be seen and heard as kind of who are you, if that's what you want to do. But I think I highly recommend that you do tell your story, whatever that story is. Again, it's that authenticity. And we do highlight that on our stay-boutique.com site with owners. And we love, there's definitely got to be a story there. And you just have to be open to wanting to tell it. And if you want to do it through us, we'd be happy to interview you because I think it's that important. So I think we've spoken about that very well. Why don't we go on to another question?
And the only one thing that I'll add to that is
Yeah,
celebrate your people.
celebrate
For
your
sure.
people too, of course. Oh yeah. Oh
And
my
That
it,
is
and
gosh.
make
really
sure that they embody the values of your culture, right? Because
Yeah,
there are too many now that I've seen of these resorts and hotels that they want to have a culture, but they're not training the team on that culture. You're training them on systems and standard
right.
operating procedures, but you're not training on the soul. And that's a problem, right? Right. Where I can tell someone there, I live in the Adirondacks. I worked at a resort many years ago through college that had a huge story, and we embodied it every single day, and we taught people that story, and that created a repeat guest, right? It's all about genuine guest experience. This is going back to the beginning of time. It's not different in AI, I think. Um, but now I don't see that happening as much. I'm seeing someone who's getting paid to check somebody in, check somebody out, pour the drink, make up the bed, and that ownership, because it's not coming from the top typically, it's not trickling down. So if you can do that and you can do it well, then you've got something that can be carried through, again, resort wide or property wide.
I think all hands on deck in a hotel, if you
Yeah.
can get your staff together as much as possible, whether it's once a quarter or whatever, everybody then feels like they're part of something. And I
Mhm.
just thought about that company that I owned way back when is the biggest thing that I wanted to do at the beginning was bring everyone together because then you're part of a family, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
And
So
give
see.
them
I
opportunities to grow too, right? Like it can't just be
yeah,
you're just in this position, and also get them to learn the local area, become an ambassador of not just your property, but what else is there? What kind of rev share is an opportunity that we can, take more businesses in local rural areas, like a lot of these boutiques, you need a whole community to stay alive to make sure you get the bookings at your hotel. So how do we bring that across? There are easy ways, but you have to be as the owner or as the manager, you have to do that for your team and get them to listen and learn up and trade up.
yeah, absolutely.
See, in my operational journey, I have been part of several opening across the globe. I think back right now with the Mandarin Oriental when we opened the Washington, D.C., I was part of the New York and even bought the FF&E furniture, fixtures, and equipment for Boston. One of the biggest factors that we discussed all the time was everybody or anybody can get the access to what we bought. There is only one asset that they don't have access to is your people. So it's all about how you invest in your people. It's the same in the age of AI. Everybody has access to the same tools, but they don't have access to the mind that is asking that question and thinking about what problem that we are trying to solve. And because 99% of the time when you look and you're trying to solve the problem, I'm telling you, whether it's your dishwasher or your front desk agent, they will know the solution. But the
Hmm.
point is, did we involve them in that discussion? I'm not talking about with the implementation of AI, but when you're trying to solve operational problems, hey, what can we do to smooth the things up or create exceptional experiences? It's all about listening to people, really implementing and forgetting about myself. It's more about we together, what we can do as a community, as a boutique hotel, and and an environment.
Very good. Thank you guys for that. I don't think we asked this question, the practical adoption question, cutting through the noise. There are hundreds of tech solutions competing for attention right now. If an independent hotel owner could only prioritize one investment in the next 12 months, that would really prove meaningful to their operations, their guest experience. What should they focus on and what should they kind of ignore for right now? For the next 12 months, we're saying.
Honestly, my take on this is really audit what your teams are doing and where is the operational friction and work on those.
Hmm.
We have constant conversations with clients who say, I have this system and I copy the information from this system and I paste it into another system, or I put it on a spreadsheet, or, somehow we're not allowing information to flow correctly from one place to another. And what it causes is it causes people to be sitting behind a computer, ducks on water, trying to make a stay or an experience as perfect as possible. We're trying to avoid the guest from seeing that. But if I'm a concierge and my head is down on a computer and it's not looking up and greeting a guest, or it's not making an opportunity or seeing an opportunity, we've done something wrong. So I think my advice would be not a specific tech stack function, but audit to see where we can relieve the stress and the friction.
Can they do that on their own?
I think they should work with their vendor partners to figure that out, right? Sometimes it takes a tech stack replacement.
Mhm.
Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes if you go back to your vendor, someone, a trusted advisor, and say, hey, these are the things that we are experiencing right now. Can you give us some suggestions? There might be a way to do that. I mean, certainly if you wanted to hire a consultant to tell you what you should be doing, you could. But I do think listening to your staff members is a perfect place to start, right? Because no one knows your business like your team knows your business. So start there, really evaluate what's breaking, and then determine where does that go.
Yeah. So Fran, I think we're all going to probably address this question through the lens of our own experience, right? Ashley's a software company, Rohit's, AI, and our business is really focused around all prop tech based solutions that go in there. And I think we have to consider all of those different paths in here. But if you look at it from the guest experience perspective, it's pretty clear. Like you can do any guest survey, and your number one priority is always going to be Wi-Fi. And it doesn't matter whether you're going there for vacation or whether you're going there for business. You can't have an operating boutique hotel without sufficient Wi-Fi. That's always number one. TV usually lands in the top two or you
Oops.
from that in-room kind of tech experience perspective, Wi-Fi and the TV experience are going to be right up there at the top. Then from an operational perspective, I think there's a number of things that you have to look at and address. And, Ashley's right. You're going to look for where that operational friction is and kind of where the needs and challenges are. But if there's one thing that can be prioritized around right now, it's there are platforms that are coming into the space to really help support operational elements. And Ashley touches a number of these from her world with software, but there are those that kind of facilitate that uh, the guest experience and the operator experience in terms of improving there. So I think there's I think there's really a number of different things you have to look at, but you can't ignore the obvious. It doesn't matter what survey you do, Wi-Fi is going to fit there number one,
Yeah.
and TV is going to be pretty close.
If I can't
Uh,
log into Netflix, then we've got a problem, right?
yeah, that's going to be the number one complaint right there to the front desk. So, got to take care of those, and I think there's a number of things, but then there's all kinds of tech-based solutions that are coming into the space. How do you support the needs that are coming with EV charging, right? With
Right.
guest room management systems, and then ultimately getting into some of the other things to help save money from energy management. What are the pain points that exist there?
Yeah. We have a
So,
at our conference, real quick. Somebody just asked today about, is there high-speed internet at the conference space? Of course there is. You can't have a conference without having it, right? I think it's the same for a hotel. You shouldn't own a hotel if you don't have the best internet possible,
Yep.
right? There may be spots of the country that it's not possible. I don't know. Um,
so Fran, so tying all these things together, what Ashley and Lance and Fran, you have pointed out, and I keep on going back if Ariella was not in a noisy position to jump in on this. Sorry, Ariella. But the point I'm going to make is the first part. I think the first and the foremost thing the boutique community needs to worry about is discovery. If you want your independence, this is the time now to focus on the discovery that how does your website get discovered? There are a lot of people that gonna tell you that, oh, tens and thousands of dollars are every single thing. The solution is very simple, but it's time consuming. The things that you're not used to doing is spending time and building the content. Once the content is built, the tech guys go in and they format it for the crawlers or the AI agents that can
exactly.
go and read. You can build everything that Ashley and Lance have said, but if you are still dependent on that big giant word we call OTA, it's not going to help. So the first and foremost thing is your discovery, how your web hygiene is, how is your AEO, GEO analysis, how you cannot just go on, like I have seen so many experts out there, churning out so much data for the website and it looks all fabulous. Guess what? Last
Yeah.
quarter, Google is pushing it down because
Yep.
it's
Right?
but
Right.
AI slop. It's not your genuine voice about your brand. So your website has become a living document. And it's not just the design won't matter in 6 months, what the design of the website or the features, the gimmickiness or anything else. Everything will matter what is the back end of the website and how the AI crawlers can read it and segment it and how you have taken everything into consideration that you you make it so simple and stupid that the client, once he comes on the website or the guest, he doesn't have to leave to figure out. I have taken on some of the biggest PR agencies that tell me we only design the vibe. We don't tell how to get to the hotel. They can look it up on Google. No,
No, not
Anymore.
anymore.
So let me
no.
ask you this. I'm just curious. Have there been studies of today um, for boutique hotels of where people are searching? Are people adopting towards ChatGPT or an LLM solely? Are people still looking at Google? Like where is the value and where do we see that going in the next 24 months?
So,
Great question. Love it.
so, so, don't take me wrong. There is no right or wrong answer,
Okay.
and there is no one answer that fits it all.
Hmm.
So each individual property has to look at its own demographics individually, but
Hmm.
the basics are the same. To answer your question, is Google search is ever going to be dead? Unfortunately, not.
Yeah.
Nelson, the head of Google Google Travel, said that at a Focusrite conference that it's not, and asked me the reason why. Go look at the census of education in the U.S. The number of population, the percentage of population that is below fifth grade is so high, they don't know about LLMs or anything
Yeah.
else. They will still use Google search. So Google
Yep.
is smart. They will never, they're still, as of March, 41% of their searches were still coming on Google search. So right now you have to put the board, like it's not just the AEO, GEO board. You still have the SEO board. But
Hmm.
we're not living in the world where, the SEO world was a bottomless pit that you put $10,000, you didn't see any results. Right
Right.
now, put something, you can see the results in 1 quarter. It
Okay.
takes a quarter before it kind of regenerates.
So it takes patience then. So you're not going to see, we're not going to see
Thing
changes
is,
overnight. I was just listening to a podcast about that the other day that people are expecting changes, in a month. And that's
Yeah,
yep,
really not realistic. And we have to be patient with any kind of investment that we're doing in this way.
right.
The other thing that, you know, I work with a lot of resorts, right? We work with wide campuses sometimes. And why are people looking is another thing that you have to be very conscientious about when we're thinking about what kind of data flows up to these places. And are people saying, I'm looking for a vacation at a resort or at a hotel in this particular county or this particular city? Or are people saying, I just want to go somewhere for the weekend of Memorial Day and I'm coming with my family? Like we need to be adaptable in that search functionality to accommodate for a range of things, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw another wrench in there. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, guys.
Yeah.
And I won't be doing justice of not telling you what's coming. And it's already here. Travel and hospitality is always the tail end, slowly
Yeah,
adapting.
it's true.
That's the reason when Fran and Ariella asked me about the panel, we are bringing in a very diverse from the heads of Panasonic, IBM, Hitachi, cybersecurity. But what's going to go away is in the next 6 months to a year, if anybody can guess, is your keyboard. Voice is going to be
All your phone.
voice is the new revolution. So
Wow. Yeah.
search, the way the discovery is happening is changing so fast that it's not just about, oh, I am going to this place and this place, but now people are, if you look at Google data, they're showing before the search used to be looking for a hotel to go on a vacation on Memorial Day. No, it's very specific, going on a vacation, family vacation with the kids of this is this. I'm looking for this and I'm looking for this experience. And it turns into a lot more. So if those data is not there, there's so many ways individually that you can capitalize on by partnering. Like I think initially in the conversation we alluded, I think Ashley, you brought it up, partnering with your local community and involving those experiences
Mhm.
that are listed on your website. So they're not going to Viator, or they're not going to any other website to look for, okay, well, where can I go? So you already partner that. Like I said that to a boutique hotel in New York. I said, why are you not selling Empire State Building tickets? Why would I? I said, you get 10% right away. And now
Yeah.
the client is booking you right next to Empire State Building. Now they're going to a third party to buy it. Here, Empire State Building Trust will give you 10% of that ticket sale if you sell it on your website.
And you just made it convenient for them. You could sell a package, right? You could sell a
Yes.
package. You don't need to
So
know that it's an inflated value, right? Or they don't, the guest doesn't need to know that, right? You
No.
could,
it's not inflated. It's
yeah,
not inflated. And see, everything that Ashley and Lance have said are important.
yeah.
But discovery is the biggest part. Your web hygiene is the biggest part right now because that's where the OTAs are spending the money. Why, if you think, a simple thing, a simple study, if you go and look for, I'm looking to figure out what is the checkout time for a hotel. 80% of the hotels don't list what the checkout time on their hotel on the website is. You know
Something
what's
simple.
listing it? Expedia, Booking, Kayak, everybody. So what happens automatically in the search? It's coming from them, not from your original website. So you really have to think through of every possible question and think of the prompts. That's where AI literacy kind of becomes important. That how do you figure out what prompting is? That what kind of questions are specific related to my property, whether if I'm in the city, if I am in the middle of nowhere, or what's going on and what are the rules around it, and all those demographic. And don't forget the transfer of wealth and the value system. So the things that we were talking about, this generation will not want Wi-Fi in their room. They don't
Right.
want Netflix in their room.
So
Their
that's true.
approach is very different. And Fran and I talk about it because that even in her own family, she sees with the younger kids and her like how they are acting. they're looking because they have the cell phone, they have the data hotspot, and they feel more secure using that than connecting to the Wi-Fi of the hotel.
So if I can
Yes,
say
absolutely.
something, if I can chime into this.
Oh yeah, I was just going to call you, Rajvi.
Thanks,
So there you
sorry,
go.
not to interrupt, but I only have 10. I have a very hard stop at 12, but I just want to
Yeah.
chime great notes from all of you guys. Wonderful. I just want to chime in to let you know what we have done on our side of being a very boutique historical properties, and we are located in very rural areas. So yes, working with your your destination marketing organization, absolutely. You want to make sure you put your, when they're going to those travel shows, make sure you're putting out your giveaways with them, because they're going to get the 800 emails that you can then take on as your newsletter. And the partnership, definitely working with the community, it is a top goal for any independent boutique hotel to really thrive, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the other side of the tech world, what we did decide, and I give credit to Fran, because Fran, you took me to that Focus Right
Yeah.
conference, really opened up my eyes. Oh my God, what is out there, right?
Yeah.
Turned out we did take an implementation from there. We implemented our AI who answers the calls. So what was bogging down our properties was the front desk being so tied up with answering all these calls, like, hey, what kind of fish is in the lake? Hey, da da da, and
Yep.
really taking away where they're just really focusing on issues with guests, experience, service, and really giving that what they're meant to be there for, other than just answering those questions. And yes, you can put the Q&A on the website. Do people read? No.
No.
But yeah, no one reads. No one reads that. So what we turns out, implementing this AI, it's not only answering all those questions, reducing the bog time for my staff, and they're able to do a lot more productive work. In addition to that, their guests are booking reservations with the AI.
Mm-hmm.
And we are seeing that trend happening. In addition to that, I'm taking the AI that's answering the calls and all these questions that are coming, giving that information to my website team. From that, they're building the content on what
Perfect.
people are looking. And then we're targeting the SEOs from that to drive more traffic, because now everybody's looking for the same type of language. So we're connecting those dots essentially. So yes, I
Perfect.
mean, the tech is there. You got to figure out for your brand, for your staff, for your culture, what is that you need that's going to give you not just, oh, we have this great tech, but it's going to resolve problems. And I think that's how any great business starts, right? They look at what was their problem and how do we build something around it and build a business around it. And I mean, hence why I think AI even exists, because of all these problems, disconnect that was happening within the business.
And a
Anyway,
lot of those problems are
So,
human issues,
Great
right?
point, Rajvi. Great. Thank you.
Rajvi, that is a brilliant example, but AI has been around, just to give you an idea, since the 1950s. So the point of having all that information, just like you said, Rajvi, very correctly, on your website, yes, people might not read. It's too much, but the AI crawlers on the back end, how the information is listed on the back end, the front end won't matter. It's the back end information. When if I go and look for Rajvi, pardon my ignorance that I don't know I will look up your properties, that in your area, where can I go and what kind of fish is there? If that information is there on your website, it'll automatically pop up into your into the AI searches and give the answer. And it'll be more authentic because it's coming not from a secondary source, it's coming from
Mhm.
your original source. And
Exactly.
there are other strategies that are there that you can do in order to, like, if you look at, if you, Raj, we just say your case, having even presence on Wikipedia, if you don't have a Wikipedia page, and creating that, it's free, but you have to be authentic about it. They won't let you post anything AI. They're very
Mhm.
strict about that. That is the biggest promoter of doing something. because if you look at all the biggest marketing companies like Monks that are even Google, less is more. What is happening is that everybody, if you look at LinkedIn, I am shocked. Everybody has a newsletter, everybody has a blog, everybody is writing articles like long, but what empirical knowledge do you have? If I wasn't a doctor and I start writing about solving cancer, it's irrelevant. I'm not an expert in my field. But if Lance wrote something about from his experience over the years, what he has learned, it'll be of value. So less is more, but keep it authentic, keep it real, and discovery, along with everything that Ashley and Lance have pointed out, is equally important. But right now, the biggest challenge is that you're not paying 25% to 20 to 25% to Expedia or Booking just to get that booking. You have an opportunity to do the data hygiene, the JSON schema, markup. They all sound very daunting, but in reality, they are very different.
I suggest also asking your staff. Housekeeping may say, we keep getting this question, that question, all those kind of things that you can put on your website to be found.
And what Rajvi has done, agentic voice, I'm like, I don't want to talk about it because this is not the platform for it. But agentic voice solutions. But again, that's where the Boutiquehotels.ai comes into play, that there is a vendor evaluation form that you have to worry about. Where is that data going? I was part of the Perplexity Business Fellowship, and the founder of Whisper, Tanmay, came on board, and we put him on the spot. We were 1,000 of us around the globe. I was the only non-techie that was there. That, okay, I'm putting in, the platform is brilliant, everything is brilliant, but where is my data going, and how secure it is, and is that data being used to train your other models? That is something that, but again, as an independent hotelier, we are not, it's like we're not the CTOs, or we don't know the technology that well, but it's getting access to. So if you see the encyclopedia or the plethora of information that is there on boutiquehotels.ai. And another thing that you have to keep in mind, and I often discuss it with Fran, that AI is not for free. If you're using the free version of any of the platforms, you are the product.
Right.
So the cost of that thing, the AI, has to be included into your CapEx, into your budgets, and how, if you look at it, we're working on a project, which we will announce by end of July, where we're redoing each and every job description, because every front desk employee, every housekeeping employee has a phone and has access. So that is called the shadow use of AI, how they're using it. Every job description has to be rewritten. So I don't want to make it too daunting. It's really simple, but it's just about educating your teams that they are not using their own personal chatbots to upload a client's information or anything like that. Can you control it 100%? The answer is no. But for your insurance purposes, you need to show that you conducted those trainings. So if something happens, you can show the backup, like, look, I trained it, but I can't control it. But because the insurance will come out and say, hey, did you do this? Is this part of your training manual? That what's going on? I was at the Marriott Marquis last month for a conference, and the phones were in their pocket with the camera screen. And I was talking to the founder of the conference, and I was like, what if they're recording right now? How do I know?
Exactly. Yep. So many questions, so many things to cover in this conversation. I think we'll need to have a redo of this because, believe it or not, our hour is up and I have so many more questions to ask. So I think we're going to have to reschedule and do more of this. And maybe add to it, from having you answer those questions when we do send out the webinar link. But I want to thank you all so much. If I gave you one thing that you wanted to say before we left, and you could do it quickly, do you have anything to add before we go?
I I wouldn't, but I wouldn't be, even though it's overwhelming, one step at a time. Don't try to achieve,
Yes.
focus on the things that you control, look for the small wins. Don't try to rebuild everything at one time. Listen to the people, the partners that you already have, that what they are saying, and build around it. But in the end, trust your gut.
That's for
Good
sure.
point. Very good point.
I just say if anyone needs some help with some direction, feel free to reach out to me or feel free to check out jonashospitality.com. Fran, you mentioned my great friend and coworker Lori is working with BLLA now, so you'll probably see her out and about. She's in Las Vegas, I'm in New York, but yeah, if you have any questions or if you're interested in anything that you want to speak about further in conversation, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or email.
Great. Lance,
And
any last
I'll,
word?
I'll close with Rohit's words. Less is more.
I love that.
and guys, do check out the platform
Got to
Boutique
drop. Thank you.
AI. Boutiquehotels.ai. And if you need anything on the stuff that we talked about, you know how to get hold of me. Fran knows how easy to reach out on botheminds.ai. I'll be more than happy to help because this community that Fran and Ariella has built is brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you everyone for being here today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we're grateful for your time.